So the second question I want to ask is how can we actually change the public image of gifted education? Quite often people think, these people are already advanced. They are gifted, for the God's sake, right? They already have something on the God. So why should we give them more resources to make them, like an honor society or to promote elitism? But then my question is, why do people have to think that way? Is that, are we doing something wrong? Are we actually promoting the gifted education the right way? So, as opposed to perceiving them as takers, taking resources from other students or from society, why can we, imagine them as givers and creators? I remember this one time I passed Seattle at Redmond, and that's where Microsoft is based. I used to have a thing of anti-rich people, like no one deserves to be that wealthy. No matter what you do, you just don't deserve to be that wealthy. But once I passed the city, and then I realized the whole city is actually supported by Bill Gates, by the company, I realized this person actually is supporting so much, so many intelligences. It's also supporting so many families. So, if our gift education can create more people like Bill Gates, become creators and givers to the society, then we see the point. We can make gift education more justifiable in the BC context. So this is the first question I raised. And the second question I want to raise is, what is really giftedness? Is it really conditioned or is it conditional? One of the questions I encounter most often would be, if people come to me, oh, what do you study? I say, gifted education. So I usually encounter two questions. So are you gifted? The answer would be no. I'm only gifted in making animations. And the second question would be, what is gifted? Giftedness. How do you define? How do you identify them? So people usually want to hear a number. They just want me to pull out the number, the major number. What's the IQ for being a gifted person? But for me, that's not really the question. I don't really think giftedness is a condition, especially in the current generation. We are talking about inclusive education. We are talking about educating all the different kinds of students with different needs in the classroom. So we should talk about needs. What kind of condition make them gifted? What kind of condition actually make them where are the needs arise from conditions? So it's conditional. For example, I want to answer my question. I just laid out the really comprehensive structure of gifted education in Taiwan. So I want to ask you, how much percentage do you think students are enrolled in gifted education in Taiwan with that kind of system?
It really depends on the standard.
Yeah, right. So it's conditional. But then, if you would guess, what's the number you would guess? 2%, 5%, 10% students are enrolled. 20%. 20%. 12%. All right. So the answer, maybe draw is 0.75%, not even 1%. So you may wonder why, with such an incomprehensive system, how come we only identify 0.75% of gifts, or only 0.75% of students are enrolled in a gift education? So let me explain why it's conditional. So in Taiwan, we have very stratified educational system. Elementary school is general, so everybody attends school, everyone is happy, you don't really compete, just attend school. But when I was in secondary school, we were classified into 3 classes. We have class A, class B, and class C. And those are all based on your achievements. So the class I was in was the top 50 students based on the scores. And when I entered high school, we don't it's not called gift education, just based on your scores. And when we were in high school, again, that's totally stratified. So in grade 9 in Taiwan, you have to, the end of grade 9, you have to take exam, entrance exam. And which high school you go to is completely based on the entrance scores that you get from the exam. So the rank 1 school will only accept students who are 98% percentile and above. The second rank school probably take students from 95% to 98% and so on. So it's totally stratified.
The question is actually giftedness and the school, high school, are not very directly connected.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that with this system, actually students' needs are met within the general system. That's why you don't really need too many special education programs. You don't need to identify 2% or 3% as we might imagine usually the population of education. With this really stratified system, this is what I mean by conditional. In a busy curriculum where it's more general, it's easier, and in a classroom that really encompasses everyone, you do need to identify more students who get enrolled in gifted education, because the general education, the classroom itself cannot simply challenge you enough. But when I was in Taiwan, even though I never identified as gifted student, but I was always in the class A or rank 1 school. So I was associating with my peers who are around the same level. And within those rank A schools, we usually have a special class that we call gifted program. And those are not only gifted, they are super gifts. Yeah, so we are already 95, that the whole school is already 98% and above. And then we have a special class in that whole year cohort. We call it gifted. So those are the students who got served. So this is what I mean by conditional. We cannot really give a number, what's the IQ, that student should be identified as gifted. We should really examine the curriculum of the system and then see where the needs of, of these gifted kids might arise. I hope the point is clear enough. So if you have a few minutes. Great. I got carried away. So what do we promise in gifted education? Another thing that we kind of miss in our BC gifted education. We talk about who are, what they are, what kind of qualities we want to identify, but then we forget about the mission. Why we have a gifted education and what kind of missions we want to complete. So quite often, because of that, because we only follow the identification, so gifted individuals are usually being seen as a brand only, a brand with special talents. They are not seen as a holistic person. So, in my vision, a more holistic gifted education should cultivate people who are also brave. They can be visionary, can be wise, adventurous. They can create a lot of things for the rest of the world. Yeah. Just in case you don't know, the second person is a Japanese guy. It's called Beniti Omei. He's very good in analyzing future trends. So he's very visionary. And then how do we situate a gifted education in BC? First of all, I think we have to make it justifiable. And how do we make it justifiable? We have to really examine the general curriculum and see this general curriculum really meets whose needs. Right? Does it really? Well, the general curriculum here, once we have a thorough examination, we can identify who are actually the students who have needs that should be met. And then second of all, it should be grounded in social awareness, which means that it should connect to the future society. What we really want to achieve, what kind of leaders we want to. Okay, I want to tell you just one small story. When I was living at the dorm at the UBC, I was associated with so many bright, great students from the whole world. But the question that often arises in my mind is that, how can these people be future leaders? I believe many of them were involved in gifted education before, but then they only really, what they presented to me just really have a bright brain, have a beautiful mind. But then they don't have any leadership. They don't really care about the world. So when we are talking about gifted education, I think we should go beyond the brain. We should train both the brain and the heart. We can have people who can lead us to a better world. And then sustainability in gifted education. We're talking about holism. We don't just see them as a brand. We see them as a whole heart. Leadership, creativity, problem solving, being able to see the future trends. These are the things that we want to see in each individual. And the second one would be equality. We also have to listen to the silent voices. And what are the silent voices might be in BC context? Would be gifted students from rural area. They don't have resources. No one will be able to identify them. And also gender. And students who are quite exceptional. These are the silent, the silent voices we should pay attention to. And then reciprocity. So gifted education should arise from general education. But then gift education has also have another mission. It has to inform the general education, make it available. We should talk about how to raise critical thinking in the classroom. How do we identify multiple intelligence, and so on. So it should be reciprocal. All right, and these are the possible goals that we can achieve in the VC context. The first one would be pre-service teacher training. In the current time, most of the teachers here, or even the teachers in gifted education programs, they have very little education to give the kids. And the only place that have pre-service training, teacher training is in the States, but it's not in all the states. There are only 5 states in the United States that mandate all teachers to have, to have gifted education training before they can become a teacher. And then the second one would be we need more research. We need on different cases. We need to spread about the stories about all these beautiful minds and beautiful brains, so people can, public as a whole, can get more interest in gifted education. And we also need more reports on the evaluation. We need to see what is the accountability. We need to let the public know, where is the money, where does the money go, where's the investment, and we also need a professional level, integrator who can synthesize everything and then make VC as a whole. And the last one would be, I think is part of my job, would be create a university level research center. In Taiwan, we have roughly 12 schools that provide gifted education program. And in each of those schools, there will be 2 to 3 professors who are specialized in gifted ed. And within those schools, they all have they all have special education resource center where parents can call in and consult, and that includes gifted education. Right, so I think it's my time's up, right? So my last slide would be, I'm here. I'm new to the big family, so I wanna ask you what we can do together. If you have any research idea, you think that you want to put in the curriculum, if you think that anything I can do for you, just come to me. My email is very easy. It's owen.low